I had a really weird interaction not too long ago with an influencer, and I thought, while I do my hair, I'm going to tell the story about it because it was really bizarre. This is your first time seeing me. Hi, I'm Georgia. I'm a TikTok content creator. I have 1.6 million followers. I post Disney princess content, but also other content. I'm kind of all over the place. I also occasionally do the odd kids party, and also I work part-time in an escape room, which is like one of my favourite jobs I've ever done. I wouldn't necessarily call myself an influencer as such. I would call myself a content creator because I don't think I could influence anybody to do anything, let's be real. And not too long ago, I was doing a shift at the escape room, and my final team of the day on a fully booked Saturday turned up late, which wasn't great to start off with, but you know, it's fine, it happens. So finally my team turn up at 9 o'clock, which is like 15 minutes later than they should have turned up. And 3 of the most beautiful women walk through the door. They are absolutely stunning. Like, I'm not joking. Their hair was perfect. Their makeup was on point. Their outfits were, they were just a huge slay. I loved it. They were so, so beautiful. So I introduced myself to them. I asked them if they need the toilet or if they've been to an escape room before. And they said that they'd just been for a drink because they were really nervous about it because they've never done an escape room before. And I noticed that one of the girls was filming herself as I was talking to them. And I was like, go on, vlogger, you get that content. However, she then started to film me when I started the game speech, and we have a rule at our escape room that you're not allowed to film inside the games. Like, you're not allowed to take any photos or videos because we like to keep the secrets inside the building. So like I said, she starts filming me and I stop and say, I'm so sorry, we have to pause for a moment. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to take any photos or videos of my speech or inside the game, as we have a policy that we like to keep all the secrets inside the room, as I just said. And she went, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry, it's kind of a rule. And one of her friends goes, well, can she not post it on TikTok? And I went, no, I'm really sorry, she can't. Of course, we have worked with influencers at our escape room before. However, it's such a long process to get it approved by the managers and the bosses, because it's constant emails back and forth between the influencer and the manager about what can be filmed, what can't be filmed. Like, it's such a long process. And I wasn't told that we had an influencer coming to play the game, which normally is kind of, again, a pre-approved thing. So I just assumed she was a normal customer, which she was. And one of her best friends turns to me and goes, but she's TikTok famous. And I kind of went, okay, cool, that's amazing. You still can't film in there though, I'm really sorry. The friend was like, but she'll get you loads more followers. Now, obviously I start to laugh at this because I'm like, it doesn't matter, like, you genuinely just can't film inside the room. And I was like, oh, I'm a TikTok content creator myself, you know, and even I'm not allowed to film in there. Occasionally they'll let me film like some bits and pieces, but you know, they're really strict about it here. And the girl was like, but she's had like over 10,000 views on her last video. And I was like, that's amazing, that's brilliant. And I said, what kind of content do you make? And the girl looks at her phone and looks at me and goes, I film content with me and my dog. And I was like, wow, that's really amazing. Like, what kind of dog is it? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking to her a little bit about her content. And I'm like, so how many followers do you have? And she doesn't answer me. She literally avoids my question. She just goes, well, I had over 10,000 views on my last video. And I was like, that's amazing. That's really great. Then her friend looks at me and then goes, well, how many followers do you have? And I just smile and go, I have 1.6 million followers. And their faces just changed completely. Their jaws dropped. The 2 best mates were like, what? And the girl that was filming was like, no, not views, followers. And I was like, yeah, I have 1.6 million followers. And oh my God, did this change everything. Best mates then start freaking out and asking me a million questions like, oh, what content do you make? What's your TikTok username? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, we're already running so late for the escape room. Let's just get you guys in and then we can talk about it afterwards. So I do the speech, and the girl that was filming has a face like thunder throughout the whole of the speech. And from the get-go, the girls kind of were a little bit difficult, but again, it's their first time doing an escape room. They had a million questions about what they could and couldn't do. They were very, very adamant that they weren't going to take their phones into the room with them, even though I said that they could, because apparently a couple of them had like calls they were waiting on or texts they were waiting for. And I said, look, you can take your phones in with you. You just can't take any photos or videos, because obviously, like, you know, if there's an emergency, you can use your phone. So then they get into the room and they're not great at the game. To be fair, they were doing our hardest game and they'd never done one before. And I gave them every clue that I possibly could. And the girl that was the like influencer was not having it. She was not enjoying it at all. She kept throwing tantrums about not being able to see anything without her glasses, that it was too dark, that it was this, that it was that. At one point, she picked up a prop and threw it against the wall. Like, I'm laughing because it was actually so bizarre. I can't believe it even happened. And she just kept complaining throughout the whole thing. And they actually escaped the game at 78 minutes. Now, it was the last game of the day, so I let them go over the hour, but 78 minutes. I actually ended up having to give them a lot of the codes because they were refusing to complete puzzles. At one point, I had to go on the microphone and just be like, guys, you need to complete this puzzle. You need to do this puzzle to get the code. And they were like, we don't want to. It's going to take so long. And I was like, that's kind of the point. And I was like, do you really genuinely not want to do this puzzle? And they were like, no, we don't want to. And I was like, okay, fine, the code's this. And then literally that's how I got them through the game. Otherwise, I'm pretty certain they would still be in the room today. However, when they came out of the room, the two best friends were laughing. They had the best time. And to be fair, I really actually enjoyed running their game because they were making so many funny jokes. And it was just a very funny atmosphere. However, the girl that was the influencer was not having it again. She just really wanted to leave. She didn't want to be there. I took their group photo, and as they were leaving, the girl, one of the best friends, said, oh, this is her TikTok handle, check her out. And I was like, oh, I will do, thanks. They leave, and I think the best part about this whole situation, after all of that fuss, this girl isn't even TikTok famous. Not how I would describe being TikTok famous anyway. Like, I found her TikTok handle and she has just over 100 followers, and I couldn't for the life of me find the video that had over 10,000 views. And it really confused me. So I thought maybe she had a different account that I hadn't got the handle for, so I looked at her Linktree and saw all of her other socials, and I could not find any sort of evidence that she was an influencer as such. She filmed YouTube videos and things like that, but she wasn't popular. She didn't have that many followers. And don't get me wrong, like, if you want to be an influencer, you all have to start somewhere. You all have to start, like, with no followers and build up your content and your platform and all of that. But it was just really bizarre that they were kind of hoping for, like, special treatment because of something that wasn't even true. It just completely baffled me because as somebody who has quite a lot of followers on TikTok, I would never expect any sort of, like, special treatment because of that, you know, especially if I've not pre-arranged it or something like that, if it wasn't like a brand deal or something. I don't know, it was just really weird. Anyway, that's my fun story for today. I now need to try and figure out what my hair is doing before I actually have to go to work. I feel like my hair is giving Hermione Granger from Harry Potter today, but we're going to go with it because I need to go to work. Anyway, let me know if you want any more fun story times about anything, to be honest. I've got lots of party princess story times, escape room story times. Let me know if you want any more because this was quite fun.